Hello out there, all you sexual tyrannosauruses. Welcome to Anyway, That's All I Got. The show where we talk about movies and occasionally try to sound like we know what we're talking about. My name is Sam Noland. Who the hell are you?
I'm Anthony Battaglia, and I ain't got time to bleed.
And you are one ugly mother. Oh, I couldn't stay mad at you,
Why
Jason.
couldn't I be sexy Tyrannosaurus or whatever?
A sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Whatever you said.
You are in my mind. Who are you?
I'm Jason. How's it going, everyone? I would put a little Predator quote in here, but I won't.
Well, all right.
Stick around.
Stick around.
Yes, welcome to our show. We're already off to a great start. And hello to all of the Cinemaholics listeners out there. This is our monthly crossover onto the Cinemaholics feed, where we hopefully try to wrangle in some new fans. I know we've lost some people already, but the ones who are still here, thank you for sticking around. We're glad to have you here. So what we do on our show, we've been on a break for a little while. This is our first proper episode back in almost 2 months, actually. And last week we caught up on all the feedback. This week we're going back to sort of our normal thing, what we've been doing a lot recently, which is that we take a newly released movie in a big franchise or a small franchise even, and talk about everything that's led up to this point in the franchise. We're going to start doing this a little less frequently. We did it a whole bunch over the summer, but
Blockbuster season.
It is blockbuster season, so that's waning out a little bit. But we do have a big release this past week. The latest installment in the ongoing Predator series was released, simply entitled The Predator, directed by Shane Black, who was, of course, a cast member in the first Predator, Hawkins, who was a very vulgar fellow. In many ways, and we did nothing. Okay.
Well, you can't really say the jokes he says.
No, not on our show. We try to maintain relatively family friendly, even though I called everyone a sexual tyrannosaurus at the beginning.
That was the opener.
Yeah,
that was the opener, man. That set the tone. But yes, so we debated a little bit. What do we do? Because, as you may know, the Predator franchise did cross over with another well-known big sci-fi franchise that debuted around the same time, the Alien franchise. So we thought, okay, well, obviously we have to talk about all 12 of them. Then we slowly realized that would be outrageous if we tried to do all 12 of them in the same episode.
Yep.
So what we ultimately decided to do is we're going to talk about just the movies that have predators, or at least one predator in them. So that's the 4 proper Predator movies and the 2 AVP movies. And then what we're going to do is we're gonna put it to the fans out there. Would you like us to do an Alien episode? Talk about the other 6 movies we were gonna do. That's the 4 original Alien movies and the 2 newer ones. But that's not what we're going to talk about this episode. This week, let's talk about The Predator. It all started in 1987 with a movie very simply titled Predator, directed by John McTiernan.
Hell yeah!
Who directed Die Hard, a movie we talked about recently, and was a very this was his first studio movie. He directed another movie first the year before called Nomads, which I've been wanting to see. I didn't get a chance to, but that was sort of his debut. But then this was the big, foray into the studio system, and it was written by Shane Black. You know what I found out is that Shane Black was hired to, quote, keep an eye on John McTiernan.
Yeah, they only cast him in the movie because they wanted him on set. So, hey, you're acting. You might as well punch up the script while you're here as well.
That's why his role is so strange.
Yeah.
As this really crass, sort of meek individual.
Was it just like a role that they just came up with last minute?
As far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, like he is the first to go. I mean, I think they just cast him in that role because of that reason. Yeah. Just so they can have the writer on set for a little bit
to justify it.
Add another death.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And Predator is it's often cited as one of the better action movies of the 80s.
It's considered like one of the greatest action movies of all time.
I would agree with that.
And it does have it wasn't judging by my research, it wasn't like fantastically received at the time of its release, but of course it started gaining a following, and now it's widely considered to be rather good. What do we think of Predator?
Well, I liked it overall. It's kind of the same as like Die Hard for me, where everyone else seems to love it, but there's just something about it that's not as exciting as everyone else.
Doesn't quite click with you the way it does with everyone else.
You know, it's just it's an 80s action movie where they just spray bullets everywhere, which
I think that's the point.
Is kind of fun. But
I would argue that that's the point.
Yes,
taking.
But
it definitely has a very satirical angle to it, that's very damning of these macho military guys who just go in and kill people, you know, kicking ass and taking names, and then they're, you know, talking a big game and everything.
Yeah, but there's a point where like there's too much action in a movie, like
in this movie.
Yeah, in a way, yes. I think it does take a while for them to get to that first. What is it, like a prisoner camp or not a prisoner camp?
Yeah, the guerrilla.
Whatever it is. It takes them a while to get to that. So I appreciated that, you know, some lead up to it, but once they get there, it's pretty much straight action for like the rest of the movie.
Action, suspense, sort of gets really sort of claustrophobic and anxious towards the end. Anthony, I know you love this movie. You're one of those people.
This is probably, I would put it in like top 5 greatest action movies of all time. I worship this movie. I think it's great in pretty much every aspect. Like, I do agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I think we do need some of those over-the-top action movies, especially from the 80s. Like, because we don't really get those anymore. I think everything tries to say something now, whereas this movie, it was just a straightforward, kick-ass, fun time. I think it's a very.
I can't argue with
It's
that.
actually a clever. It's a well-told story, and it really works. Just like it's like Die Hard, where like yes, it is just a great action movie, but it's a very smart and well done action movie. I love it.
Yeah, I was thinking like it shouldn't really work. So it's like a movie.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is a weird movie that works, and it shouldn't, because how.
Like
how long into it does this Predator show up? Like
like a long time, and
a while.
And even then,
when he shows up, you're like, okay.
It's a movie about this alien thing, but most of it is just like you're looking at Arnold and all these other dudes, and I'm never bored. Like a lot of it is just kind of them marching around in the forest, but I'm not bored because I love the score. I think it's Alan Silvestri.
It is
who does all the Marvel movies now, and I really loved the score, and I thought the casting was perfect. And I think it really holds up. Like I think it's still very watchable now, as just a movie.
Interesting, guys. I don't like it.
Why not?
I don't like the movie.
Tell us why.
You know, something about this movie has never completely clicked with me. I've seen it 3 times now. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, that was kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah, granted, I've only seen this movie once. This was my first time watching it.
I've seen it probably 10 times.
But something about it just wasn't quite there. Then I watched it again. I think I liked it a little bit more that time, just superficially, like, oh, okay, it's just sort of an action movie. But I watched it again this time, and you guys know me. I'm like Sigmund Freud in many ways. I try to look at these things and try to figure out what are you trying to do here. And I love the middle. I think the middle is fantastic. I think the part where you have all these macho guys who are talking a big game, you know, with their violence and their sexual prowess, is like, okay, I see what you're doing here. That was very big in the era, sort of the satire of the Reagan era, you know, American men, you know, who are going to save our country from
Arnold.
God knows what. I know Arnold's not even American. That's the funniest thing. It's the least American.
But he's the most American.
What's your name? My name is Alan Dutch, John Matrix, and Howard Langstrom. You never hear an actual like Austrian name from this guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, as I was saying, So I love that part, and how they're going in, they're murdering all these foreigners for sort of a vague reason. Like it's sort of not exactly specified what it is.
It is later.
It is later, yeah. But and meanwhile, you have a literal alien, not like a quote illegal alien, but they're taking just this glee in shooting and killing people, just because they feel like it and because they want to shoot their big guns and everything. Obviously, it's very symbolic of the phallic imagery and everything, and then you have this literal alien watching them, seeing them for how vicious and unthinking and violent they are, and obviously we would learn later that that's literally the point of the predators, is to attack the most. The greatest challenges of humans,
Earth's competitor,
Earth's greatest thingies,
whatever it is. Yeah.
And then you have them slowly start getting picked off, and they start whimpering and just essentially losing their manliness. I love it.
Arnold shakes.
It's not. You don't see that every day. But then I think the middle part is it's the shortest part of the movie, because I think the opening has a lot of really just uninteresting to me exposition and setup that I think you're right, it does take a little bit too long, and I'm like, it's not that I want them to get to the predator, it's just that I'm not really invested in this. Like, I'm not really sure what exactly I'm supposed to be latching onto, besides just sort of watching them do things. And then at the end, after everyone gets killed rather abruptly, I think, and then it's like literally a half hour of just this standoff between the Predator and Arnold, which is kind of cool, I guess. But I'm like, I don't know. I never really get into it. It's not terrible by any means, but when it ends, I'm like, I'm not really sure what I was supposed to get out of that, and something about that just leaves me dissatisfied. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's a genre movie. It's an action movie. I don't think you're supposed to get some sort of great mind-blowing thought of like, oh, I see. I think
they're going for something.
No, I disagree. I think it's literally entertainment.
It is on the surface.
I think on all levels, it is a masterpiece of entertainment quality.
Sure.
It's big budget, big action, big dudes, and I think I think that's the whole point. I think that's why I do agree. It's that everyone's abruptly killed off, and it's just Arnold versus this thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's because I don't think that means anything. I think they just wanted biggest movie star ever at that time versus a really cool looking design dude, and like they're battling to the death. I think that's it. And like they do go for, because like you said, we don't really know why they're killing all these gorillas. Mm-hmm. They're not literally gorillas. That's just how they're
that confused me so much.
For people who haven't seen the movie, they're not going to fight like Mighty Joe Young or anything.
Yeah, it's spelled a different way.
Yeah. So, but then we find out later it was like something like Carl Weathers' character is like, oh, it was to protect our interest or something.
Oh, see, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Well, because it doesn't matter. Exactly.
Okay,
I think those little moments are only in there to form a story, to form a structure,
to have vague connective tissue.
Exactly.
I guess I just want more than that.
I see it.
I guess that's my point, because it feels like it's setting up more. It feels like it's setting up more.
So, what were you looking for?
Based on it's that's the thing. I'm not sure. I'm not understanding from what this movie is trying to get at, because based on what I know of John McTiernan, he does have stuff on his mind. And
like compare it to Die Hard.
And I guess I can't. I do compare it to Die Hard. You got these, it's advocating.
It's a big blockbuster action movie,
and it's straight up fun, and it's consistent, and it's coherent, and it's a single vision, and it's also a brilliant advocation of the working class and what they can do and how they can stand up to the big bad authority and everything. But more than anything, it's just fun. And when I watch this movie, I guess I just have trouble viewing it and enjoying it as one single storyline, because I feel like it's setting up something interesting, but never really making a point. I guess that's what it is.
I think the point is the characters, and I think because so like you're saying, you have these overly macho giant dudes. I don't think that's a comment on anything. I think that's just how the 80s were. No.
I don't know about that.
Because yes,
I see where both of you
there are satirical moments like sexual tyrannosaur. Like nobody talks like that unless you're making fun of them. But I think the fact that I think you're saying that that's all they are. That they're big guys who get withered down because they get scared. I disagree. I think they're big guys that. I think it's a thing called character development, where we have all these big guys who go in, they know what they're doing. That's why Carl Weathers gets these guys, because they're the best. We need your guys, Dutch. They're the best.
Yeah.
So they go in and they do their thing, and they're successful, and that's all that opening is. It's just them being introduced, and it's an action scene. But then we start seeing them get picked off, and we see the human come out of them.
Right. I don't disagree at all with that.
But I think that's the point. I think the human, we get to know that we see Jesse Ventura's character and how he gets blown up, and how Bill Duke's character is really sad because they had a real connection, and we get this sense that they were just really good. They were the close ones in the group. They were the best friends because he's talking to him, and they have the flask, and he freaks out the most. And I think it's a character study on this kind of yes, big guys who are overly muscular and overly testosterone filled, how they can also just kind of be scared. Like Billy says it in them, I'm scared. I think that's the point, and I think that's it. And I don't know what else you're looking for. Do you want a societal commentary?
No, not necessarily. It's more of a pacing thing, because you look at Bill Duke's character, who's this clearly is somewhat traumatized, or at least sort of worn down by even at the beginning, before all the Predator stuff happens. You see that. It's starting to get to him a little bit. He's a little insane.
Like the beginnings of PTSD.
Yeah, or if he's not there already.
Yeah, and I really got the sense that he's like that character who's going to say, "Damn, only 2 days left to retirement." I kind of got that sense from him more than anyone.
Yeah, there you go. And then when they all, because you're right, they do get their human side does show, but when you're actually watching the movie, it's such a quick part of it, and they get through it so fast that it sort of makes me think that maybe there wasn't an idea after all, and it feels like
quick.
It goes through it kills them all off really fast.
Yeah.
Watch it again. It happens so fast that they all get killed, and I guess that's not something about that is not quite effective to me on even just a pure character level. I don't feel the death of these characters. I don't feel like Arnold is reacting at the end. I feel like it's just sort of events playing out, but that I'm never really getting connected to.
Well, I think that goes back to just that it's entertainment. It's a very pulpy movie.
Sure. I guess I want more than this.
But I think. But are you saying it's a bad movie? I know you don't like it, but I think it goes back to what we were saying last week with. Good, favorite versus worst. Is it does it work as what it is, which is just entertainment action movie?
To me, it does, but it's just not my kind of.
Right, exactly.
It's not my cup of tea.
And I think that's fine.
It's the same with Die Hard.
But I think to fault a movie because it's not what you expected is, I don't know. I think that's going about it when you go into something expecting something, and because it goes a different way,
It's not that it goes a different way from what I was expecting. It's that it goes a different way from what it's setting up. That's the thing, is that there's this thing that happens in storytelling. I don't know the exact terminology or anything, but it's essentially, I've heard it referred to as a contract with the audience, where it sets up in the first couple of scenes, this is the movie you're in for, and most movies will not break that contract, and if it does, it usually has some sort of point. And this movie it feels like it breaks it in a way, but I'm not necessarily seeing the point.
I think the point is entertainment. I seriously think that's it.
And I think that's what it is mostly. But when it's also trying to work at this other level, which is this, interesting directorial vision that John McTiernan has of the story he wants to tell. When that falls short, it makes the entertainment part of the movie worse by association.
So what is the Predator then?
What do you mean?
In this directorial vision, what is the point of the Predator?
I would say that I was sort of referring to it earlier. It's this essentially a foreigner to Earth, and it has better stuff than them. It's smarter than them. It's really exotic and stuff, and they don't know what to make of it or how to deal with it. And they're sort of realizing, they sort of underestimate it at the beginning, because I might be remembering incorrectly, but somebody sort of spots it, and it's like invisibility cloak or something. And they say, "Oh, what's that?" And it must have been a hallucination or something. They don't really take it seriously until it starts murdering them. And I would argue that that's the point they're trying to make, that they don't necessarily deliver on, underestimating the
foreign power.
Essentially, yeah. I'm like that's sort of what it is. I guess that's it. Is that I'm seeing this somewhat incomplete vision that I would like to see. That I would like to see fleshed out a little bit more, and I guess that's it.
So Arnold and gang, they were the foreign power going in, and they won, and they get taken out by their own foreign power.
Yeah,
and
more or less.
You're saying that you wanted more. I don't want to say I don't think you're looking for commentary.
What would you prefer?
Are you looking for the characters to have a realization?
Perhaps that would be an interesting angle to take. I guess I'm looking for. I'm going to bring this word up a lot in this episode. Is some sort of reflection.
Okay.
I feel like the pacing, and I know it sounds like I want some crazy existential, like Arnold to be like, "What is the universe? I'll never find out." That's not really it. I mean, I guess it's just the way I look at movies. I think that's what we're learning here. Is I'm trying to sort of see, because I feel like there are very few movies that are, or not very few, but there are movies that are just pure entertainment, and there's movies that are pure entertainment, but they're also something else. And I feel like this is trying to be that, and it's not quite getting there, and that's why I'm having trouble.
So I disagree that it is trying to be something else, because I read a thing that the pitch for the movie was literally the pitch for Home Alone was Predator, but in a house with a kid. So I think that's honestly what they're going for here.
That's the pitch, though. I'm saying that was the pitch. That's the
but when you
superficial.
When you look at what they did,
that's the superficial thing. But John McTiernan came in, or whoever, Shane Black, and they tried to add this other layer that I feel never fully gets there. That's just my point.
So I think when you look at what they did with, I think,
like a commentary level, you mean? Like their stuff they're trying to say, like
that's one word, but just the other story they're trying to tell. What is the other story going on here besides just guys in the forest getting killed by an alien?
So I think
sounds fun.
I think the other story, as you're referring to it, I think that stops after the girl gets to the helicopter, I think at
the 2/3 point
towards the end, yeah. And I think once I think the story just becomes man overcoming bad thing, because I don't think there's a big thought process in terms of the human will or anything. I think it just becomes it's not like the movie is a failure in terms of the story. Like the plot is alien fights people and people want to win.
Yeah.
And I don't think it fails in that sense at all, because it is really cool, actually. Like, it is a very creatively told thing. Like, it's not just some half-assed guy in a suit. Like, that thing with like the Predator itself is a very new and creative thing, and I think that's more of what they were going for. I think they're trying to tell a new action story. Nothing had been done like this before. I think they're trying to go at the action genre as at a new angle, and I think they're trying, but use the familiarity of Arnold and all these big dudes to kind of mash it with this kind of smart alien thing, where it could have just been. I don't think they should have gone too far to what you're saying, where there's this reflection. Like, where would that have fit in?
Where would the reflection have fit in?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It could just be a little moment. I'm saying that, like, I don't feel the effectiveness of certain things the way I think the movie would have liked me to. Like, when everyone gets killed, it happens, and that's just sort of it. I'm like, well, that was okay. I guess they're gone now. I don't really feel that much, and I know it's a desperate situation, but it doesn't even seem like they're trying to evoke anything with that. And I guess I feel like saying that it's just trying to be entertainment and nothing else is sort of underselling what they're going for here.
I think what they're going for is smart entertainment, like Die Hard, where yes, there is something to say.
Okay.
Where with the middle class thing, but I don't think. I think when the goal of an action movie, the goal of Die Hard is not to make you reevaluate the middle class.
No,
the goal is to entertain.
Yeah.
Whereas the goal with
entertainment
Predator
first,
exactly,
and
then you want to underlay.
they have their like messages.
Yeah, you want to underlay it
commentary
with that stuff, and I think
that's where I think it falls short.
I don't think it falls short. I just think you wanted more focus on it.
Perhaps.
Because I think it is there.
I think there. I mean, I'm terrible with picking up messages in movies, but I do think that there is something there. But yeah, I could have used maybe a scene or two of some sort of reflection.
Because I think that's ultimately it. I think that's the ultimate reason why I say that I'm dissatisfied with this movie is because even at the purest entertainment level, I just feel like I just don't think it's structured very well. I think the transition between the acts just doesn't necessarily work, and I'm not. It's not stringing me along the way other action movies do.
I don't know. I thought it worked in terms of just well done action. Like, it is a well done thing. Like, nothing looks cheap. Nothing looks.
No, it looks
like
fine.
they're cutting corners.
All
like,
the action is fine.
Like, I thought it was great. Like how it's just a fun thing where they're all blowing their full loads into the forest. Like, I thought that was hilarious.
It is,
and I thought it was cool and exciting. And I thought it was like that snap with Bill Duke's character. And I thought it worked. And I think, like, I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think you're right on a lot of things, but I think you're faulting it too much because it is a very well done action entertainment piece, and I think to say that
maybe so, but I can get action other places.
But as good as this,
sort of, yeah.
Where?
From Aliens.
Alien. There, I guess in terms of. Like
spraying bullets.
I agree that Aliens is a better movie than Predator. Okay. But I think Predator is, for what it is, which is this going at it at a new angle, this crazy action set piece, this high budget thing. I think it worked really well because Aliens had a bigger budget. Aliens had
not that much bigger, but it was bigger.
It had more goodwill going in, and it had James Cameron,
sure,
who was like, he is a visionary, and he is better at getting his message through. And I think John McTiernan, for his first big budget thing, did a fine, like a better than fine job at telling this story.
Okay, we're sort of at a stalemate here. It maybe it'll work for me one day. But it hasn't quite yet. I mean, I don't fault anyone for liking it, but it's not
and I liked it
my
overall.
Cup of tea.
I liked it overall, but it's just the same kind of like thing with Die Hard.
Jason is literally between us right now.
I know, I'm literally between. I'm like, I was just very indifferent on it. It was fine.
Yeah,
I get why people really like it, but it's just not my kind of thing, like Die Hard.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure. So I guess
McTiernan fans. Sorry.
I guess that was quite a long time that we spent on the first Predator, but it came out. It was very successful. Made a lot of money. Like I said at the beginning, the critical reception for this was not fantastic at the beginning, but it started to gain a bit of a following, and so it was enough. It was enough to make a sequel titled Predator 2. A lot of thought went into that title.
Well, no thought goes into any of these titles. Are you kidding me? They just add an S
Just
or a
put
the.
an S on it, or put a raised 3 on
Or
it.
erase a cube
To the power.
to the third
of
power.
3, and then resurrect it unsuccessfully. We digress.
Yeah.
We're talking, of course, about Predator 2, which is actually a rather lesser known sequel. Like, who talks about Predator 2 anymore? When you're not,
it's just
when
one of
you're
those-
not talking about the rest of the.
It's just one of those 80s sequels, you know?
It came out.
It came out in the 90s, but
yeah.
it's just one of those standard successful movie gets sequels.
You know, it looks like an 80s movie.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it was probably filmed in the 80s, so it makes sense.
Yeah, naturally.
So what happens is that we open in the jungle. We hear those drums that we heard from the first movie. It flies over the jungle and then pans up, and there's a big city right there. It's
Gasp.
like letting you know right off the bat, this is a whole different ball game now.
It's Predator, but in the city.
That's pretty much what it is. I forget the exact phrasing, but I think one of the taglines was "From the actual jungle to the urban jungle."
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
And we open on this violent shootout in the street between the police and, I believe,
like
the
a drug-
Colombian
yeah,
drug
drug
cartel,
cartel.
right? Who are at war with the Jamaican drug cartel, and it's Los Angeles, right?
I believe so.
And Danny Glover shows up as this police officer, and you realize, oh, this officer has methods, has very specific methods. And then
This officer has balls.
Yes.
He's got cojones.
he's too old for this stuff. And then we cut to this overhead shot in infrared lighting. We immediately know, ooh, the Predator's watching. Predator goes into a building, just starts killing people. Then a bomb explodes inside the building. Danny Glover's like, what happened up there? And goes up and sees someone fleeing the scene. And what he doesn't know is that he's running from the Predator. And so they go up onto the roof, and Danny Glover has the gun trained on the guy, and the guy starts shooting at the Predator behind him. But Danny Glover thinks he's shooting at him. Turns around, sees a weird hazy mirage. Thinks, oh, it must be the heat. Nope, it was a Predator. And it goes from there. And for a while, I think it actually balances the two storylines okay. Between what the Predator's doing and this sort of investigative police work. They're trying to figure out what are these strange murders that are happening. Then Gary Busey shows up as the corporate guy who knows there's an alien and wants to weaponize it. You've seen this character before, certainly.
Vincent
But not as
D'Onofrio?
Gary Busey.
Not as Gary Busey. That's for sure. Yeah, Predator 2 is a weird one, isn't it?
Very.
It's like okay, there's a movie here. I don't know what it is. I feel like this is certainly, even though I'm not a fan of the first one, I think this is certainly a bit of a step down.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
From the first one. It sort of it unravels really quickly.
By no means is this a good movie.
Yeah,
No, not really.
Okay.
In fact, I'd even say it's rather bad.
I
Honestly.
agree. I think it is bad, but I think it's fun to me. Like it's very
Occasionally.
quirky and weird, and it's. I don't think it's your standard sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I think they try to do something new, but I think that's the extent of their effort. Like, hey, let's.
What did they do new? I haven't seen this movie. I ran out of time. It was either this or AVP Requiem. I chose wrong. Haven't even seen this one, but I chose wrong. What did they do differently in this besides just having a city?
In the city. So I think they tried to go just a completely different way. So instead of giant jacked dudes, it's just kind of a normal city cop.
Just Danny Glover.
Just Danny Glover.
It's
who's-
actually a detective story for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I think Danny Glover is really great in this movie, actually. I think he carries it, really well. And I think the movie doesn't work. There's too much. There's too much mess. There's too much crap.
It's just thrown together.
Yeah, it is
plot
thrown together.
points.
It's like they filmed 3 movies at the same time and then edited them together.
And they converge in this weird climax.
Yeah.
Weird climax. Do you care if we get
No,
away?
I don't care.
Okay, so this
it's Predator 2.
So this is what happens. Danny Glover realizes, I think there's an alien here.
Yeah.
Just sort of dawns on him. And literally goes to a gypsy fortune teller in an alleyway.
That was weird.
In an alleyway.
And the gypsy fortune teller, who is part of the Jamaican drug cartel, tells him, "Oh, this is something extraterrestrial."
Confirmed.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
And then Danny Glover walks away. 5 seconds later, the Predator shows up and kills the fortune teller.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so Danny Glover is convinced there's an alien.
Yeah.
He goes to a fortune teller.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they confirm his thoughts of it being an alien.
They're like, yeah, it's an alien.
Yeah.
And then is
And then
Danny Glover surprised?
He goes off and just
like,
to find the alien.
And then they killed the fortune.
And then Bill paxton's in there.
Yep.
And Gary
Really?
Did you know Gary Busey, like, his role was going to be Arnold? Like, they offered that part of the guy who already knows.
So they gave it to
That was no. They had to rewrite it.
Okay.
But Arnold didn't. Arnold was right not to take the role because it was he said he didn't like the script and he didn't like that it was in the city now.
Arnold was too good for Predator 2.
I mean, I'm sure he had better things to do.
Arnold
back at this
was
time.
too good.
I think this is around the time of Last Action
he was
Hero.
still in high
was still
demand.
pretty
He was
big,
still in
yeah.
high
This is
demand.
around the time of Last Action Hero, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I think I'll stay with John McTiernan.
Yeah, he was the Last Action Hero. Guilty pleasure of mine.
The hell yeah. It is.
Yeah, but in this movie, I don't understand Gary Busey's role at the end. Like, I don't know why he's there. I guess because they're trying to capture it still. And Bill Paxton's there for some reason. He's some really obnoxious Bill Paxton type.
He's the new recruit at the police station.
Yeah, he's like making crude jokes to the receptionist.
I can see it.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's a
He's
character
good.
out of one of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Yeah, over the top.
Yeah.
And nobody, if it was somebody else, I would have hated the character, but I love Bill Paxton.
Yeah. Abrupt death, like a lot of Predator deaths.
Yeah.
And then it all winds up, stuff happens, and then it all winds up, Danny Glover and the Predator are hanging off the side of a building. Mm-hmm. And Danny Glover gets one of the Predator has like these throwing discs that are razor sharp.
Yeah, like a ninja star.
Cuts off its arm just in time for the little self detonation.
Yeah, like
like
at
Predator
the end of
thing.
one, he starts he starts laughing in Predator 1, and he's like, hey, look at you, screw you, I got a wristwatch that explodes.
Say
So
goodbye.
he starts doing that in this one. And what is Danny Glover? He jumps into the next building or something?
Well, what happens is that it cuts off the arm. The Predator falls off with one arm with severe wounds to the torso, but manages to grab onto a pipe that swings down and goes into the window of an apartment building, into someone's bathroom.
Yeah.
It cuts to the people who live at the apartment like, Johnny, I think someone's in the bathroom. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then the Predator, in a scene reminiscent of the first Terminator, like starts doing surgery on itself with like, it puts I don't know what it does, but it has this weird, mysterious med kit, the Pred kit, I call it, and it gets some drywall and shards of glass from a mirror and crushes them together and forms like a spackle.
Whoa!
I'm not even kidding. It's crazy.
This sounds awesome.
And
weird.
And we come back
It's
to
funky.
We come back to
Is
Danny
this something
Glover.
I would like?
I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably on just a pure entertainment level. It's sort of, there are some really sort
Like,
of
it's
weird
campy.
parts.
It's campy as hell.
Yeah, I'd probably like it.
But we come back to Danny Glover, who's hanging off the side of this building, who's afraid of heights. He's like, I ain't gonna let these heights get the best of me or something. And climbs over to another pipe and starts shimmying down it, and then swings over and gets into the same apartment building. But the Predator's gone. He's like, where'd the alien go? There's a hilarious line. I forget what it is. I think he shows him a badge or something and says like, LAPD, where'd he go? I don't, and someone in the apartment says, I don't think he cares who you are. Points in the direction. And then there's like a little chase scene. they wind up in the Predator's spaceship that it got there in the first place.
Wait, he chases the Predator?
He chases the Predator.
Yep.
Why? Why?
He wants to arrest him. I don't know.
By this point, it's just a personal vendetta.
Pretty much.
Can't he just turn around and kill him with anything on his little utility belt?
Well, I mean, the Predator's he lost.
Oh, he lost?
He's like,
okay. I guess.
He's got to go.
He's missing an arm.
It's established in this movie the Predators have a very strict honor code.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I actually really like that about the ending of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Should we say what happens? Might as well.
Yeah. If you don't want the end of the Predator, fast forward like a couple minutes. It's not that big of a reveal.
No,
I guess,
so like they're on the ship.
Yeah.
And then they have another little tussle, and Danny Glover kills the Predator.
Yep.
And then like 15 other ones show up.
You skipped a very important part where
What?
Danny Glover goes in and there's nobody there and looks at the wall and there's a whole like rack of skull
trophies
from other species. One of
them
which
is an alien.
is a xenomorph.
A xenomorph.
So that means
Official crossover there.
That's
I
right.
mean, probably not. I think it was just a thing that like
it was just an Easter egg.
Yeah,
It's
the
an Easter
directors
egg.
were like,
So
let's
then
put that in.
So then like 15 other Predators show up.
Yep.
And they give, and it's kind of stupid, but I thought it was fun. So the King Predator, he sees that Danny Glover is a true warrior, so he gives him a pistol from like 1712 of a pirate that he killed.
Yeah.
Which shows that these predators have been hunting people since like forever. And then Danny Glover's like 1712, what the hell? And then they fly away.
What? And they fly away. And then Danny Glover emerges from the rubble. And some other cop is like, where have you been? And Danny Glover's like, you don't even want to know. And the movie ends.
Yeah. It's very stupid, but I thought it was hilarious.
God, no,
and I
that's
loved
perfect.
it. Yeah. You should watch
I would love this.
just for the last 10 minutes of the movie is just really cool and dumb. And it gives you a little more depth into what the predator species is.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a terrible movie. But
yeah,
fun.
so what are your guys' problems with the movie? Because
it's just stupid.
Same as the first one, really, except worse. I don't care about any of the characters really, except for Danny Glover. I think none of them are terribly well developed.
Yeah, they try. This is one of those movies where they consider just the fact that you introduce the character, that's all the development they need. Like, oh, this is the tough female cop, and this is the obnoxious male cop, and this is the this, and this is the scary Jamaican dude who has a sword, and it's just like
that classic.
It doesn't
character.
work.
That classic character.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, and then also there's this other weird thing, and this is such a Sam thing to complain about. But they also have this other storyline that they abandon like halfway through the movie with this crazy like drug warfare that's going on, and the predators interfering and just killing off like sort of the worst of humanity. And it's not even that I want any sort of commentary, but that completely just becomes irrelevant like 2/3 of the way through. It's like, yeah, whatever happened to that drug warfare thing? They never go back to it. So yeah, there's that. Structurally, it's bad. Writing-wise, there's nothing super memorable.
No, there isn't.
Character-wise, nothing super memorable. No. Enjoyable moments occasionally.
But it's kind of a chore to get through.
Ultimately, doesn't leave a very big impression, although like we've established, there are some very interesting moments.
Yeah, there are things to enjoy, but it's not something I want to watch again.
No, I would say that. So at least I'm glad we're on the same page with that one. So then the Predator took a little bit of a break for a while. Predator 2 came out in 1990. It wouldn't be until 2004 that it appeared again.
It came back with a punch.
With a punch, yeah. And for a while, there was a lot of extended material, like comic books and video games and stuff, which is actually where it first crossed over with the Alien. Mm-hmm. And they were very popular, which inspired which greenlit Alien v Predator or versus Predator. AVP came out in 2004. And so obviously, since this is where it crossed over with the Alien franchise at this point was sort of in a similar place. You had the first Alien, which everyone knows and everyone loves. And then you had the second one, which pretty much the same thing. I love the first two. And then you have the third one, which sort of gets a divisive reaction to a point.
I mean, no, people hate it.
It's mostly negative. They don't hate it as much as 4. There are some defenders of 3.
Well, I think people
Watch Mojo hates anything that isn't The Dark Knight or The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I gave up on them. Yeah. But I think with Alien 3, I think a lot of the defenders are just appreciating the fact that they did something completely different, even if it was poorly done.
Yeah. Yeah,
I still haven't seen it.
It's an interesting direction, but it doesn't work.
No.
And then Alien Resurrection is just a train wreck of a movie.
What a just slap in the face to people who like the Alien
looks
movies.
magnificent.
It does.
It looks incredible.
Just visually?
I don't know. I watched one scene from it where I think Ron Perlman's like exploding or something.
Well, if you see Ron Perlman exploding.
I don't know if it's Ron Perlman, but there's like an alien coming out of him, and it's just like the shakiest action I've ever seen, and it was just the craziest stuff.
There's some crap in that.
It's not a well-shot movie.
No.
But yeah, so the Alien franchise was sort of dead cinematically as well. But then they crossed over. They came back. It was AVP, Alien versus Predator, the thing everyone wanted because they had, like I said, they had crossed over in the extended lore and everything. So it starts out, and someone realizes, hey, there's a heat signature in Antarctica. Like, what's the deal with that? So they go to check it out. They do some imaging, and they realize there's a pyramid-like structure underneath the Antarctic surface, underneath a whaling station, I believe. So they acquire a bunch of the greatest experts in the scientific community or something to go and see what's happening, and they go down. They realize. And at the same time, the audience, we realize that there is absolutely no continuity with the other 2 franchises at this point. This is very much its own thing. Yeah. Very much its own thing. But it's like a secret xenomorph tomb down there.
Yeah, they really go in depth with the backstory, and it's just like, I don't care. Yeah. Show me aliens and predators fighting.
And to be fair, they do cut to the chase with it. They do sort of.
I don't think that was on purpose. I think that's because they didn't have anything else to do.
It's Paul W. Anderson. He's not good at anything other than garbage action. Sorry.
And it is garbage action in this movie.
Yeah. I hated this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
And I liked Paul W. S. Anderson movies as a kid. And I hated this movie.
Oh, wow. So your Jason standards were shattered.
Were shattered.
Abruptly. But yeah, aliens show up. Predators are like, hey, there's some aliens awake down on Earth. Better go take care of it. Aliens fight predators. Humans are involved and caught in the crossfire. It's pretty much what you expect. Here's something fascinating I found out a few minutes ago. So there was, in the wake of Alien Resurrection, can't imagine what it must have been like.
Right.
There was there was rumors of an Alien 5, and James Cameron was actually theorized to be working on it back when he was actually like going to do movies.
There was going to be a collaboration with him and Ridley Scott. Yeah,
that was going to happen. But then they announced that that this is the new direction they're going with. They're going to cross over with the Predator franchise. James Cameron said, I don't have the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, "Yeah, that's stupid. This is not going to work out." The movie came out. James Cameron said, "You know what?
He enjoyed it.
I kind of liked it."
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what?
Ridley Scott kind of condemned it.
Yeah, Ridley Scott is.
It's like, these are not connected to my movies.
He won't even admit to have seen it.
Probably not.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? I sort of am almost on the same page with James Cameron. It is dumb and stupid, and I don't care about anything that happens, but I'm able to get through it for whatever reason. I wish I could tell you why. It is thin, uncomplicated, uninteresting storytelling, but there's just enough there for me to be like, okay, whatever. I didn't despise myself while watching it.
I just think it's so boring to me, and the only joy I got out of it was like when Predator and Alien and a Xenomorph fight.
There was
it's just kind of cool to see them together, I guess, and that's really it.
Like,
and I guess the ice tube was cool. I don't know. I'm trying to find something here.
I thought my issue with the movie was you have these two very iconic properties fighting to the death, and I call it the Godzilla problem, where you keep cutting away from the stuff you want to see, and you cut to the uninteresting people.
Oh, I'm about to get smashed by a rock.
Like,
I don't care, dude.
It just blew my mind how they kept not showing the Predators and aliens fighting. Like we care what this Discount Ripley is doing. Like, we care what any of what's going on with the people. Like, it's insane. Like, I thought there was one good action scene. It's the part where the Predator, he shoots the net at the alien and he kind of gets that bloody thing, pattern on his face. That was a good sequence, and it was cool to see the Predator's strength throwing him through the walls and all that crap. But I don't care about literally any of them. And it's just like, and what did you guys think of the backstory they gave to the Predators? Where like, oh, it's the trials where they send teenager Predators down. So now we're watching like going through puberty Predators fighting these aliens. What did you guys think of that?
Scene on top of the pyramid.
Yeah. Like, what was your thoughts on that?
I didn't like it.
Like, is that relevant
I didn't
to
like
anything?
most of this movie. Like 90% of it. No, it's not.
Oh.
It's
Bothered the hell out of me.
no, it's just some like Paul W.S. Anderson stuff.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'm the expert on him.
But for whatever reason, I don't know. I found parts of it kind of neat, honestly.
I'm glad you did.
I think it's like an interesting, like, okay, I knew going in that they're just completely doing their own thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to be a little bit open to this. And I thought it's mildly interesting how the Predators come down and have produced like thousands and thousands of xenomorphs just because they
for practice.
can.
Just for practice.
I think it goes with what we know of the Predators so far. So I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's an Alien versus Predator movie, it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot
Could
better.
have been,
like,
yeah.
Like
yeah.
I really think they really could have done something special with the success of the previous movies, and they really could have like done like why not put effort into writing a Ripley-like character or a Dutch-like character where you can follow and trust that they'll get you through this thing. Whereas I did, like, every single person in this movie, I wanted to die. And it's just, like, that's not how movies should be.
Yeah.
Like, it really bothered me how they just... And just a little nitpick. What is up with the inconsistencies with the xenomorphs popping out of the people? Like, it takes, like, 5 minutes now for them to get face hugged and then it's over.
Whereas it changes. It changes in every...
That's just a nitpick that I kept having issues with all the Alien movies, especially AVP though. It's like, and a Predator gets inseminated, I guess is what it would be, impregnated.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that as a setup?
We don't see it fully fleshed out until the following installment.
Isn't that the very end?
Well,
shot.
That's the thing. So like, they flash to him getting face hugged, and then nothing comes of it for like an hour. Whereas everybody else who gets face hugged, they're popping out within 5 minutes, and that is just bad.
Predator
it takes longer for Predators.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, sure. We know
Predators and dogs.
We know from Alien 3 that the xenomorph sort of assumes the form of whatever it impregnates. Right. So I guess there's precedent for it, but yeah, it's not really effective. Again, it's not an effective good movie, but I guess I got through it, and sometimes
I'm glad.
I don't know. I think for whatever reason, when I remember it, I remember the action more than the human stuff.
Like, what was your favorite action sequence?
The stuff in the like underground tomb and stuff when it really first started.
Like when the walls are changing and people are getting trapped.
Yeah, that stuff.
Okay,
it's just sort of crazy, wacky, madcap, zany action with aliens and Predators. I didn't love the characters or anything, but I didn't hate them the way you did. I guess there was just enough personality there for me to be like, okay, whatever.
I guess
I don't know.
for me it
Everyone
was like
was
standard
really
personality, like
is.
standard tough leader, standard rich guy, standard tough one.
You know what? I
whatever.
went in with amazingly low standards, so maybe that's it. Amazingly low expectations, I should say. So I was like, oh, there's some fun stuff, I guess. Nothing beyond that, though.
I'm glad you got
Besides
something
a
from it.
vague expansion of lore, which is okay. That's kind of neat. Yeah, that's sort of my whole attitude on this movie. Okay, it's the George
kind of
Lucas
fun, I
attitude.
guess, yeah.
It's kind of neat. Yeah, it's fine.
And then we got AVP R.
Requiem.
First off, you can't start your movie with a title screen that says AVPR.
Yeah.
And then underneath, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. There's too many words on the screen. It looks dumb. AVPR, that looks dumb.
Yeah.
Whenever the AVP stuff flashed on screen, remember those old like DVD commercials where the THX would. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
It's just like, go away.
AVP, we're here.
This is the movie.
This is it.
So everything you were saying about how the human characters are amazingly distracting and take away, this movie takes it to a zillion.
Oh my.
Notch that up to
God.
11.
Because at
with this
least
movie.
the first one
It
has
is
the
terrible.
decency to sort of
To get
to the stuff.
Yeah.
It takes like a half hour in this for either an alien or a predator
And it's-
to even show up.
It's painful.
It's like
It
this
is
crazy
terrible.
small town detective story.
yeah, and then there's like
And
a
it
love
is
Throwing in
story.
so many. Honestly,
There's like a
too
stupid
many
look.
characters.
It's like, oh, the bully boyfriend and the hot chick,
Oh,
and then
God,
the nerdy
that is
guy
so
who likes the hot
cringy.
chick, and it takes
It's so terrible.
long. And then
the whole pizza delivery scene is just stupid.
I thought it was a porno. It was insane.
It looks. This movie looks terrible.
Yeah.
And I thought AVP looked terrible. This movie looks off. The color is all off. The lighting is terrible. The best actor they have in this movie is John Ortiz, and he's terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone is so bad.
I don't
Oh my
know
God.
what they were thinking with this movie.
It's violent. I mean, it's.
I don't even
if you
remember
like-
it being that violent.
It's. I mean, it's more violent than AVP. So if you want to see like
Was-
AVP, but
was
a little more violent,
AVPR PG-13?
PG-13.
Okay.
There's like an unrated cut, but it's a PG-13.
Because something
unrated
that
cut
actually
where it's
impressed me about AVP was like there was a lot of blood in that movie. Like they took
Yeah.
chances with the action in
There
AVP.
are, but it's like-
But I didn't notice much of that in 2. Like there's like they try to go for that Jaws type thing where like you don't show the killings or anything or the creature, but it just didn't work. Like they even do a Jaws, like he jumps in the pool and then he's got his tail coming up and then like get out of the water and then this movie.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
That's like all you
not-
get.
Is that, is there
that's all you, that's all
really
there-
anything else to say about it? Because
It's like a sci-fi movie. It's like a sci-fi network movie, except
no, it
worse.
looks and feels like a sci-fi
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've seen it on sci-fi.
Except it takes itself way more seriously.
and I didn't realize that I've seen it on sci-fi many times.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
it takes itself so seriously.
For half of the movie, you would completely believe someone if they told you it was like some weird, indie drama.
That's
or
why.
stuff.
That's why I was not like.
Yes.
I was like, have I seen this before?
Is this the right movie?
Apparently, I've seen it 3 times on Sci-Fi. Guessing even when I was young, I turned it off before the
Yeah,
monsters showed up.
This movie exists.
I will maintain the first AVP gives you more or less what you're expecting.
Yeah, no,
but
I agree.
this is a whole nother level. It's like, what did you do? It's the Strauss brothers. Haven't
Is that
done
who
anything
directed
since.
it?
Yep, Colin and Greg Strauss, or as they refer to themselves in the credits, the brothers Strauss.
Oh, that's stupid. They think they're clever.
No. Have they made anything else?
One other thing, I forget the name of it, but it came out in like 2012 and completely flew under the radar. But yeah, it's just bad, and it just has nothing to offer. I get nothing out of this movie.
There's no cool action. There's no cool suspense. What? Did you find it?
They made Skyline.
That's what it was.
Oh, I've heard
Oh
of that.
man. Okay. Cool.
So there you go.
That's
and a bunch of
AVPR, I
Nickelback
guess.
videos.
Those are the crossovers.
I don't even remember how this ends.
It ends with they acquire some predator technology and they say the world isn't ready for this, and they close a briefcase and the credits start.
Wow.
I think the
some
best
crap.
thing I can say about this movie is that
It's short.
It's
yeah,
short.
it's
That's
short.
literally
An alien bursts out of a child's chest. That's that's kind of fun.
Show some stakes there. Yeah.
there you go. AVPR, everyone. It's so unremarkable. It's so
Yeah,
nothing. We
it
can't even
really
come up
is.
with anything to say.
But like the thing is, it's not bad enough to offend me. It's not like it doesn't. It's weird. Like it's just a complete nothing.
This doesn't offend you?
No, like I was never
I feel
mad
like
at. I was never mad at the movie. I was never yelling at how stupid it was. I was just like, okay, next.
It's just boring. It's
It is
so
boring.
boring.
Yeah.
Everything is boring about it.
The way what you guys are describing is the way I feel about the Incredible Hulk. It's
Yeah.
not morally offensive, but it is terribly uninteresting
bad. Exactly.
and has nothing to offer whatsoever.
Exactly.
God, I hate that movie, and I don't understand why more people don't. But
Yeah.
anyways, let's get back to the actual Predator series.
Yeah.
The ones that are ostensibly taking place in the same universe. Let's talk about Robert Rodriguez's Predators, not directed by
produced
Robert
it.
Rodriguez, but is on all the posters and stuff. It's actually directed by a gentleman named Nimrod Antle. He's probably heard millions and millions of jokes about
So
his
sorry.
name. We're not gonna do that.
We'll be nice.
We'll be nice. So Predators starts really strangely. The first thing we see is Adrian Brody falling
Yeah,
out
it's
of the
just
sky.
Which is cool to start a movie, I guess.
And clearly has no idea what happened or how he got there. Lands in a jungle with some sort of automatically deployed parachute and comes across all these other people, all of which have done some bad in their lives in one way or another. And they slowly realize, none of them know each other. They slowly start realizing, where are we? They don't know where they are. They don't know who each other are, and they come out over the precipice of this rock ledge, and they see what looks like the planet Jupiter. All of a sudden, it's like, oh man, we're not on Earth anymore, or something like that.
Yeah.
Predators actually really impressed me in a weird way. I actually like this movie a lot.
So do I.
it's one of the better ones. I still have problems with it.
I think it's underrated.
Yeah, I feel like it really leans into the sort of what we've seen thus far with the sort of the Predator lore, which is that they target the bad or the challenges of humanity. Here we learn as the movie goes on, they're quite literally gathering just the most
What the humans would refer to as human predators.
and just dropping them off and let's see if we can handle them.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a weird way, despite the, no pun intended, somewhat alienating premise, it actually ends up being the most human of the movies.
Yeah, I think it's a great study of the human condition and how would these characters, which are very well done, how would they react in this situation? And I think it's very realistic as to how those, I thought it worked. Like Walton Goggins' character is great. Topher Grace is weird, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Like
Topher.
Adrian Brody, I thought he was miscast, but his character was good. And I love Danny Trejo in this movie.
Yeah, Danny Trejo and his minigun.
Yeah, love him.
Oh my god, that's a sight.
It's I found this movie to be very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's fun. I just to me, I'd categorize it as I put it in this category that I call the okayest movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
Where
I can see that.
there's nothing like that great about it, but it's still fun. But it's not. I can't tell you why. It just loses me when it's not action. Honestly, like when they meet up with Lawrence.
That was weird.
Yeah,
That's
Lawrence
so
Fishburne.
boring.
That's probably
I hate
He was
it.
a weird character.
Or I just hate it when movies do that when you're in a dangerous area you don't know, and then
There's a
surprise, there's a guy who's been there. Jurassic
Yeah.
Park 3.
or War of the Worlds.
Exactly.
with Tim Robbins.
Exactly.
Robbins.
Like,
It's like
I can't stand that stuff.
It's like if
Maybe-
Tom Hanks would have found a real dude at the end of Castaway. It's just like,
it's yeah,
like a neighbor.
and it's just
like,
like
the big ball of bubble gum that
It's-
SpongeBob
Yeah,
has.
exactly.
yeah, it just brings the movie to a halt.
It doesn't make sense.
It's where the exposition always comes
Yeah,
out.
it
It's
feels
so boring.
Exactly, it feels like
I hate it.
that like Lawrence Fishburne is the character, is the writer's tool to explain this situation, and because they have nowhere else to go to propel the plot almost.
Yeah, like they're about to die, and then this person saves them. That's
Yeah.
what happens in
Jurassic
all of
Park
these
3
all of
with
these
the
movies.
kid.
Yeah,
Little Rambo kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rambo kid.
Rambo Jr.
Still waiting for that spin-off. How the hell did you
I'm
get
ready.
that dinosaur
Yeah.
urine?
I'm
Must
ready
have been
for it
somewhere.
too.
Funnel.
But anyways, funnel, yeah. It does dip there.
Yeah.
That's the part that kind of loses me. I wouldn't say it's like a deeply effective story, but it is interesting.
I think
it
it's very
serves
interesting.
its purpose,
Yeah.
which is to put unique characters in a unique situation on Predator Planet, which is something we've never seen before, which I think they pulled off very well, and to have these news, like there's predator dogs, and there's really creepy crucifixions of predators who are failures, and I thought we really got to know the predators in this movie.
Yeah, there was like the shrine stuff and like the like Tombstone sort of. Don't they kind of have like Tombstone
Kind of.
things?
Yeah, sort of.
Or it's just like predator skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
pretty
stuff.
much.
Yeah.
There's various.
That stuff's
Yeah.
really interesting. It looks great, but I don't know. Something about the movie just doesn't keep me around.
It's nothing remarkable, but I
Yeah.
think for what it is, it works really well.
I'd recommend it to my friends.
Yeah,
my friends
it's a fun
my
movie.
friends would like it.
I do think it's a complete vision.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I
Yeah.
like about it the most, is that with the exception of that part in the middle, which to be fair isn't that long, even though it's distracting, in terms of just runtime, it's not a whole lot. And I think I like how they keep it actually really mysterious. There isn't some big explanation of like, okay, and here's what happened, here's how they got there. It sort of just throws you into it.
Exactly.
with
Like
everyone
we don't
else.
need to know how the predators got them in the skydiving part or whatever. And like the only kind of explanation we get is from Lawrence Fishburne, and when the sniper character, what's her name? I don't remember the actress's name, but she kind of says,
I Am Legend. I forget her name.
she kind of refers back to Arnold, and it's like someone has seen them before back in '87 or something.
in Guatemala in
Yeah, in
87.
Guatemala. And like that's kind of all the explanation we get, because that's kind of all we need, you know. Like
pretty
this
much.
movie knows what it is, it knows what it's trying to do,
Yeah.
and it does it well.
It's like a really well realized high budget fan film
That's a good way of putting it.
that somehow got the rights to the characters and stuff. It's just like, okay, if you could do whatever you want, what would you do with this character, with these characters of the Predator? It seems like someone with a really good idea made this.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, it's just a really human story in both
Yeah.
the good and the bad.
Yeah.
There's a fantastic fight scene. The samurai fight scene.
that was
the Yakuza guy.
great.
That's like something out of like freaking the House of Flying Daggers. Like, my goodness.
That's another scene that just we get to know the predators really well.
Yeah. So I think it's just really well pulled off.
One of the
honestly.
better ones.
Some moments could work better, like a lot of movies. And again, it's not especially like hard hitting or effective, but it works how it needs to work.
Yeah.
I say.
Yeah, there's some fun action in it, even though I think at times during some scenes it's just like spraying bullets at nothing for like a while, like someone when they get that like machine gun shotgun or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That's just like that. I feel like that scene goes on for like a little bit too long, where they're just spraying everything.
That was probably a reference to the first movie.
Yeah, but yeah, it is what people want in the Predator movies, I guess. But I don't know, not for me.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's one of the better ones.
Okay. Well, not speaking of one of the better ones, let's move on to the new release, which is Shane Black's The Predator. Came out last week and has been getting rather negative reviews.
Yeah.
To be honest, not a lot of people are liking this
But
one.
I was looking at some stuff today, like reviews for it.
Okay.
I found some pretty positive stuff.
Okay.
Actually, like mainly positive stuff today when I was looking for it.
So what are people defending it?
Oh God, what were people saying? It's what everyone who talks positively about this movie is saying, is that it's just dumb fun. That's all they're saying, which I agree with, kind of, in a way. But we'll get into this in a second.
So it starts off very similarly to Predator, where we see the ship flies by Earth, a smaller ship jettisons off of it, starts flying towards the planet. Then we cut to Boyd Holbrook from Logan, the one-armed villain, who has a sniper trained on what looks like some sort of an arms deal or something in the forest. But then suddenly, alien ship crashes down in the forest.
So he decides okay. This part's dumb.
It is dumb.
Boyd Holbrook is supposed to kill these people who have hostages, and he really doesn't want them to kill the hostage. Or actually, they don't really care. They let you know that they aren't that afraid of these hostages dying.
Yeah,
which is great for your army, I guess.
Okay,
but he sees the Predator ship crashing towards him. He decides, after he sees this, to shoot one of the guys, but then run away.
it's like I'm getting my job done. No
But he didn't, because there's still like 5 other guys there,
Yeah.
and they're just going to kill the hostages.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense. Just
A lot of things
so
in this
stupid.
movie didn't
Oh,
make
this
sense.
movie's just okay. I was talking to you the other day.
Yeah.
Everything about this movie, you don't 100% disagree or agree with this, but I just think everything about this movie is awkward. Mm-hmm. The
How
jokes.
so is it awkward?
The jokes, which is what I was really excited for in a Shane Black movie, was like some good comedy. Any time that a joke sort of lands, they just beat the hell out of it. Like the Thomas Jane's,
Yeah.
Anytime Thomas Jane does this little like stuttering thing, and there's a scene where he says something inappropriate, and then Olivia Munn gets upset.
I
and then
thought
they
that worked.
It goes on for like
forever.
15 minutes.
A lot of it goes on.
They could have taken out half of that joke,
Probably.
and
Cut it to 7 minutes.
put those the screen time that they cut out into other scenes that are so chopped to hell that I can't tell what's going on in them. Like, oh god,
it is poorly edited, especially towards the
very
end.
poorly edited.
Towards the end,
my
it's
God.
It's a
Towards the
mess.
end, I would also say towards the beginning and towards the middle. The beginning, it introduces like 4 or 5 different storylines that all start to converge, and I'm vaguely following along.
Yeah, I was fine. I guess I was fine with the way that everything came together.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to defend the first bit of this movie where
the action is great.
So what they do, which really I nerded out in the theater. They have I was so worried that they were just going to use CGI. So they get a real guy in a real Predator suit with the real moving mouth things, because the mouth things, that's the one thing they're going to CGI. But they didn't. It is a real mask on a real actor playing a Predator. And he like uses them. He like bites a dude's arm and he uses them, and it's great. And he kicks so much ass. And where he's destroying everybody in the lab. I thought that scene was amazing.
I will give that scene that. I cheered in the theater.
I was blown away by that scene and how they like that scene is they understand the Predator.
It's a very crowd pleasing scene.
Yeah. And then like Jake Busey's in it, which is weird. But it's I guess
I kind of like Jake.
He's supposed to be playing the son of Gary Busey's character in Predator 2.
Which is so unnecessary.
Which is crazily weird. It doesn't make sense.
Weird and really unnecessary. Like, we don't care.
Really.
But
it's just kind of a little thing.
He's kind of funny in it.
Yeah.
Like, he has one moment, and I totally forget what it was, but it made me laugh.
And then I think once the Predator shows up, oh, I hate that. Oh my god, that really pissed me off. This movie bothered me so much, you guys.
Yeah, every time it had a moment that I really liked, it would just come in with something that was weird and awkward to me.
So what did you guys think of the bigger, badder Predator?
I don't know. It seems like a Hollywood move where they're just like, make them bigger. I don't know.
It's use CGI now.
Yeah. Yeah. The CGI was not the best in this movie, actually. It was...
Like that's to me
weird.
To me, like when in the lab scene when he was like slashing people's faces, that Predator had attitude and personality, and he was determined, and you knew it. Whereas this big bad CGI dude comes in, and it's just like it turns into a video game. This Predator is so boring. I assume it's motion capture. It's so he has no distinguishable movements. It's very unremarkable, and he just becomes this big punching bag that they just shoot at, and he doesn't do anything interesting.
They bring in predator dogs,
which
that
was weird.
Do nothing except bring in devices for the characters to use.
Yeah.
The predator, spoiler alert, I don't think you care anyway, just for the predator dog stuff, but the predator dogs, they come in, they vomit something that the character can use when they're about to die.
Yep.
Ugh, God, it's so stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot of predator dog ex machinas in this movie, but I really tried to like this movie in the theater. I really put a lot of effort into defending it as I was watching it, because I actually thought a lot of the character moments worked. I really liked a lot of their interactions. There's a thing at the end where there's really good interactions, and then I thought the force field bit, I won't say what it is.
Force field bit was
interesting. They're on the ship.
I did like that.
Clever.
That was clever. Yeah.
It was cool. It was kind of neat, but this movie really let me down, because we don't need CGI predators, and now that they have one big bad CGI predator, they're going to do another franchise with them.
Hopefully not.
What did you guys? Should we? I guess we can't really say what happened at the end, but something out of a Marvel movie happens at the end.
It's some Marvel.
Are you talking about that dumb tease at the end?
Yeah.
That I
it's
don't
some Marvel
care about.
level,
Exactly.
like fanboy, like ooh, like, but no one cares. But no one cares.
It's like somebody described the plot of this movie to someone before it was shot, and they said, "Ooh, here's where I want to take it," and then they shot that. And I don't. It's a teaser for a movie I don't ever want to see.
No.
This movie wore me down so early on, and it never got me to care whatsoever. I actually kind of hated this movie. The more I think about it, I really can't.
Did not hate it.
When I think back to it, I can't think of a single thing I got out of it that wasn't negative in a way. It never slows down enough to get me to care about pretty much about anything that's happened. The plot is just thrown together, like we mentioned with the editing. It's hard to follow. It's just so much stuff happening, and the people it's happening to are potentially good characters in a different movie, but I hate the attitude they have.
Yeah, they don't spend enough time
so much
on them.
It's this band of misfits that all appear to come out of some sort of traumatic.
They don't feel like Shane Black.
I describe them as a dysfunctional A-team.
There you go.
Yeah. Like,
which in theory could work, but the attitude they all have is vulgar and mean.
It's one level
and crass and just fratty, broy. Essentially, I don't want to point fingers, but essentially Shane Black characters. They all have the exact same sense of humor, and that doesn't appeal to me. I don't like it. I don't like these characters. I don't care what happens to them. I don't care what happens in the plot or with the predators. The action is sort of okay, but that's sort of a given for me at this point.
Yeah.
And I can get that in a lot of places. By the time I was gearing up for the climax of this movie, I'm wondering, what am I supposed to be excited about here? I don't care about anything that happens. I'm just watching things happen on a screen, just waiting for it to be over.
Yeah.
Mercifully, waiting for all these plots to tie up. And it's just bad. I just did not like it, frankly, at all.
Yeah, climax, terrible. I was talking to you the other day. Shane Black, he likes to have like a cool sort of set piece for the finale where he kind of works the environment into either like a comedic moment or like part of the action. He's got like a great ending set piece for Nice Guys with that whole
I love
not
that
casino or
it's like a hotel type.
It's like a hotel type thing, and they really use like everything about the car. They go from the roof down to the. They really use that same thing with the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. This is just like a forest, and it's so. I know that the other Predator movies take place in a forest, but this is just like
it's a boring forest.
It's a boring forest. How do you?
It doesn't because why it works in the other Predator movie is because he uses the force, whereas this big Predator, he doesn't cloak up once. He just walks everywhere. He's like Michael Myers on steroids, except he's boring. And it doesn't. The CGI, I hated. It really bothered me that
they decided
to go with this. Bad. Like it's not even that it was bad. It's just the concept of switching. At times it was bad. And like they kill the real dude with the CGI. And what does that say about Hollywood more than anything? That really got to me in a way it really shouldn't have.
That is the orca ramming the great white shark out of the water. In Orca.
Yep.
Look it up. You'll thank me later.
It just really this movie hurt my feelings.
Hurt my soul.
I don't hate it as much as you guys do.
I know it sounds like we're overreacting.
I don't even hate it at all.
Well, I don't dislike it as much as you guys do. I still had fun. I think the middle bits before the dumb baseball diamond scene.
Oh, that was so stupid.
God, what an awful scene.
That was so stupid. With the nail gun.
Set pieces in this are terrible, except
why
go
to a baseball diamond?
Why a baseball diamond? The only set piece that I liked was the doctor's office, the
lab area. Where they're like, hey, let's look at the thing.
That was fun.
You guys know how this movie was originally going to end? So Arnold helicopters in. And he goes, come with me. Oh. And then we need the best warriors. And then the little kid goes, me too? And then Arnold goes, especially you. And then they fly away in a helicopter. And that was supposed to set up the next one. But, I guess Arnold turned it down because he said the role wasn't big enough. Even though I guess it would be setting up a bigger role in the sequel. But now they've squandered that with this Marvel ending, which is so offensive to my anything. And,
I thought Arnold was going to show up at the end, honestly.
Well, because they really set it up. They really build that thing
and I was like, oh, no, is Arnold coming out?
And then he doesn't.
No, anyway. This movie's just a disappointment. I know it sounds like we're overreacting so viscerally. This movie just got to me. Like, within a half hour, I just sort of... you know how when you describe a movie that's just pure action, nothing else, you describe it as a turn your brain off movie? This movie turned my brain off against my will. And I was just in a state of just watching images go into my eyeballs, but feeling absolutely nothing. And I just don't, it was just unpleasant. It's just an unpleasant experience. I really didn't like it.
I'll try to say some good things about it.
Yes, there are a couple.
The action is kind of nice sometimes.
I only like the opening action. That was literally
the opening.
What did you like?
First sees the Predator. I like the laboratory scene.
The lab was that was it for me. That was that blew my mind.
The little tiny parts in their house when the Predator.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
With the big dude.
Yeah, and then some of the stuff outside of the.
You know that line. That really was like this movie. Like Shane Black did not spend a lot of time on this script.
No, he really didn't. It does not feel like a Shane Black movie.
Exactly, like it's kind of lazy. And so the wife character, she goes, "He might be a terrible husband, but he's a good soldier." And I'm like, "Well, screw you, movie.
Just play the national anthem right there."
Yeah, really. Like, where's your American
flag? Works for all the guys, or I guess they kind of poke fun at that line a little bit. Yeah. They're like, that didn't inspire me, but I'll go. But still, just a bad line. Bad writing in this movie.
I was because
really cringy lines.
Like Shane Black, like Nice Guys was such a well-written movie. Like that was a perfect script, and I was really looking forward to this movie.
I think the problem with it is he's good at making comedies with action in them. Mm-hmm. Whereas this was action with comedy.
That's a perfect way of putting it.
And very different things.
Yeah.
Like those sound very similar, but
they're different.
Watch this and then watch like Nice Guys or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. You'll realize that Granted, I have not seen Lethal Weapon movies that he's directed.
He didn't direct
He
any.
wrote
Or he didn't direct.
first two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he just wrote a couple.
Then yeah, never mind.
But like, it's still very
stand
much
with my
his
point.
dialogue,
Yeah.
his style. You
Yeah.
know, just a little Hollywoody.
I don't know.
I don't
What
have
else
any-
can I say?
I don't have
Well,
anything
Um,
to say.
I do think there are certain, as much as I'm ragging on it, there are certain actors who I can tell are trying to bring
Yeah.
something to it.
Yeah.
Sterling K. Brown
is
has a lot of personality.
Very
It's not
very funny.
Not
I
a
thought
great
it-
character, but very
very strange.
When he came on screen, I was like, okay, at least there's going to be a good actor trying to do something.
I could not make
I-
heads or tails of him, but
I
like,
liked
he was
Olivia
still
Munn.
fun. Olivia Munn, I liked her too.
She was well placed.
That everything I liked everything about her except her sense of humor, which it turns out is just the same as the guys. It's like, what a disappointment. All right, that 15-minute joke we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, there was very limited humor.
Yeah.
Like there was lots of humor. It just didn't work like 90% of the time.
My theater was loving it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, my theater was kind of loving it too, but I feel like after it ended, everyone was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Even like though they were liking the movie while they were
the
watching
movie
it.
made you not like this movie.
After it ends, you're just like,
The movie kept giving you reasons to say, "Oh, well, now I don't like this movie as much as I did 5 minutes ago." And it's like, why would a movie?
yeah,
want to do that?
like I like the action. It's really violent and like in a sort of like crowd pleasing, like like cringe sort of way, which I kind of had fun with. Sterling K. Brown, I don't know. I really liked all the parts that he was in because he was just like his dumb little laugh that he does just killed me every time. He's just
kind of weird.
He's just cool. I like Trevante Rhodes because I like.
He was probably my favorite.
I like seeing him in other things. And
he was probably my favorite.
Yeah, he's super cool. The other guys, the guy from Game of Thrones, Alfie.
Yeah,
something.
He was in this movie for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
he's kind of a name. They could have given him something to do.
Yeah, that was just distracting. If you've seen Game of Thrones, you'll be distracted the whole time.
Yeah,
by,
it's like
how little his character has to do.
Yeah, it's like you almost wait for him to do something because he's so prominent in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then the other characters are fine.
Like
It's
Keegan-Michael
nice
Key I think he's probably the funniest, but he's too over the top.
It is a little bit too much sometimes.
It's like he's trying too hard to be
the funniest.
He's trying too hard to be this macho guy, and it didn't work.
I didn't like his character at all.
You didn't like
I found it. I don't know. I said this before, but just mean spirited. There's just something about that movie that's just like
but
sort
honestly,
of abrasive to me.
Some of the jokes kind of funny. Coming from him,
Fine.
but very much mean spirited all the time.
It's like it's like they're trying to do kind of dark and absurd humor, but it
does not feel like Shane Black dark
They don't
humor,
strike
like,
that tone.
It's so strange because it feels like I'll think of who it feels like. I don't know if Michael Bay directed an R-rated movie and had like
gross.
If he directed like a movie that was R-rated with all these macho guys and he tried to add Michael Bay comedy into it's sort of the same thing.
Oh,
where
so
it's
Armageddon with comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not that there's not already laughable stuff in that.
I love Armageddon.
And I don't love Armageddon for the same reasons that you love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one more thing I want to bring up, which is Jacob Tremblay's character, who plays Boyd Holbrook's son, who's a character with Asperger's, I believe. Which is
with him in times that
when the script
I can tell that they're trying to make it relevant, so I can at least
just the accountant.
I can tell that they're trying to be sort of empowering with it. So at the very least, I can appreciate that.
Like they do have that very very standard over the top bully scene. Like, ooh, look at this chessboard.
That was terrible. That was
like,
terrible.
I'm so sick of movies. Stop having over the top bullies.
That's when I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah,
that's actually the moment I was like, this is going to be a bad movie.
The execution doesn't land, but I can at least admire that
what they're trying to do.
There.
I like the Halloween stuff. That was kind of funny. That was honestly the only time that I'd liked the Jacob Tremblay stuff. I thought he was actually pretty bad in this movie.
Well, like because
I don't know.
the end,
His
they don't use him
acting,
properly.
His acting when he's hearing loud noises is, I think, really bad, and that never comes up again.
Yeah,
his kid's fighting predator and explosions are happening, but he's like fine.
Yeah, it's a very convenient condition he has in this movie, and it like towards the end it just becomes kind of a regular kid where he's hey, watch out! There's a force field, and they really lose the one unique thing they had about him.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where I go in, I'm expecting to see something. The movie ends, and I'm still not understanding what I'm supposed to be getting out of it. It's almost like I might as well have not even watched the movie. That's sort of the attitude I feel about it. I just couldn't get anything out of it, and it's really, really disappointing, I think.
It was a very disappointing movie. I still had fun with it, but
yeah.
And I actually weirdly would recommend this to most of my friends because I know that it's the kind of movie.
Friends.
Yeah, I don't know. I got friends who like Now You See Me. I would recommend this to them. I feel like they would really like it.
This is The Godfather compared to Now You See Me. I will. Now You See Me. We're not going to talk.
We got the Now You See Me rant.
We can't start that.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh well.
We'll have to.
We'll do it again. I'll gladly rant about Now You See Me.
All right.
Some other time.
We can't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's what we can talk about right now. On that brilliantly uplifting note, we're gonna get to the feedback section. This is, of course, our new segment that we want to do weekly.
Hello, feedbackers.
Now we can, because we're all caught up. So this is everything you said, all of your comments from last week to our episode where, again, we responded to all your feedback. And here we go. Our first comment comes from Plain White Rapper.
No W this time.
I wonder who it could be. You know me by other names, but I will use this moniker going forward. Okay, so I'm just going to come right out and say it. This is my dad.
Really?
Yeah, my dad told me I want to come up with a new commenter name.
I like it. I like it.
And so I guess for whatever reason, Plain White Rapper was the first thing that came to mind.
With no W.
With no W. Oh, you wait.
Yeah.
You wait. Great episode. Thanks, Mr. Plain. The Star Wars commentary responses were great. Yeah, we talked a lot about Star Wars.
Most of the episode.
We had a lot to say. The comments seem to have hit a nerve. Very cryptic. I wonder what that means. Here are some suggestions for future episodes. One, James Cameron episode. Yeah,
sure.
I could see it. Why not? We're not going to be giving short shrift to anything coming out soon. 2, Tim Burton episode. It'd be long, but I'd be open to it.
Yeah, I'd do it.
3, the Coen Brothers episode. That would be a very interesting episode, especially considering the inconsistency
yes,
to their.
Ooh, yeah.
And 4, cult movies / directors.
I would love that.
We need to prepare a little bit more for that, but I can see us doing all these going forward. As for movie suggestions, I recommend for viewing Blood Simple by the Coen Brothers. Was their debut, and in fact, we have a poster of it in our basement. Ooh. Gripping Stuff. Also, I have a recommendation for Jason. Tapeheads.
Okay.
With John Cusack and Tim Robbins.
Ooh.
2 words. Production values. Okay, so my dad described this movie to me. I can't describe it to you on this show because it is adult content.
Okay.
But it does sound like something you'd be able to latch onto.
Sounds great.
Later, pod people. PWR. Alrighty.
Thank you, Plain.
Yeah, Mr. Plain. And then No Chance said, "Is this Eminem?" I certainly hope not. I certainly hope my dad is not Eminem. I don't believe. And then here we go. Burt's Bees Reynolds. Ah, yes. Rest in peace, Burt Reynolds. Oh, hello, ATAIG. I imagine Tommy Wiseau. Oh, hello, A-Taggers. Long-time listener, first-time commenter. Just wanted to chime in and say, dinos should have feathers and should fly.
Of course.
You're damn right they should. Gusto was absolutely a Ghost Protocol. Better believe it. Bring back John McTiernan.
Thank you very much.
I believe that's an exact quote from Anthony. And in fact, I imagine you saying that in Alan Rickman's voice. Bring back John McTiernan.
Please do.
Hold up. Look at this picture of John Cusack in Tapeheads.
There you go.
Look
Wow.
Brilliant.
Looks like Shia LaBeouf.
Got a nice
He
little,
does. Oh, wow.
He looks like Shia LaBeouf.
nice little mustache there.
I'm going to see that.
Martin Scorsese, I hope. That would be fascinating.
That'd be
Can you
amazing.
imagine that?
Looking for writers.
Yes, you're back. I've been meaning to comment for a while, so I'm listening now. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you very
Martin.
much. Short and sweet. I love it. Here we go. Chance the Rapper with a W.
Welcome back.
So Chance had left a comment saying that the Disney Star Wars movies are not for everyone, and we had asked for a little bit more of a explanation on that. What I meant by my comment, they're not for everyone, is that not every movie has to be beloved by everyone. For one thing, it's impossible, and it works both ways. Excuse me. If you love the movie, get over it if someone hates it. If you hate it, don't worry so much about other people loving it. Chances are you'll change your mind someday, or they will, or neither of you will. I love how Chance literally covered every base by saying that. You can't control the countless subjective circumstances that affect what you think about any given art, and it's a fool's errand to choose validation from others. Like what you like, hate what you hate. Plenty of people didn't like the original Star Wars when it came out, but we tend to rewrite history and assume that movie was for everyone. It certainly wasn't.
No.
Empire Strikes Back's opened to very unflattering reviews at first. Yeah, that's the thing we tend to forget, is that it was sort of, it took a little while, not long, but a little while for it to catch on. For my money, the best Star Wars films have been good because of their weirdness and bold visionary style. Check out the Ewok movies; you'll love them. So it's actually not surprising for me to see some folks who appreciated the vision of New Hope not exactly enjoying a different vision for a new film. Yeah, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you say stuff like it's don't hate people who like them or hate them. Obviously, that's just people having discussions.
Yeah, mostly. But I do feel like this is very directed at.
This is at the toxic people.
Yeah. Who must be eviscerated. The Chad who hangs.
Okay.
I love it, hanging Chad. I couldn't agree more with Anthony's point about your favorite or least favorite movie not necessarily being about a film's objective quality. While we're on that topic, my favorite movie ever is Back to the Future. It's a very personal choice for me, and I would never try to claim it as a masterpiece. Why not?
I think
pretty
it's
damn fantastic.
It's a masterpiece of time travel movies.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but yeah, so that makes sense. The favorite, least favorite. I didn't really say it at the time, but I tend to sort of just talk about things in terms of favorite.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like even when you're saying something's objectively the best, it's still coming from your own objective or subjective experience. So,
Well, I think there are ways to back it up, though.
I suppose so, but you can't measure quality. You know, that's just what I'm saying. Like it's still subjective, even when you're saying it's objective. But whatever, however you want to look at it.
This is. I just read this name. This
Here
is
we
my
go.
favorite name.
So this is a little confusing. So this comes from commenter Gene the Met emoji, but I hate that name because it's not funny anymore. I'm sorry that I picked it. I think that I will just go by my regular from now on, which is Aaron because H.
Indeed.
Because H indeed. Okay.
Yes, because H.
Fantastic. And the profile picture is a little penguin. How about
Love
it?
it.
A little
Love it.
penguin. Hello, everyone. I've been listening to the show from the very start. Well, since the Podfather picked you up, because that's when I knew you all meant business. You'd better believe it. And I have to say, the podcast is great. I'm glad you're all back. Thanks very much. Or as Captain Jack Sparrow would say, thanks very much, mate. I don't have much to say except for a little pitch I have for an episode idea, if you would be so kind as to hear me out.
No.
We would be so kind.
No, we will.
If it's a good one, if we like it. How about an episode wherein all you talk about where all you talk about is one movie, analyze it, and what's it about, or what you think it's about, in a way which focuses more on analysis than criticism. Jason, you're laughing.
No, I'm seeing 2 of these movies, and I could spend 3 episodes talking about each each of these.
The movies which come to my mind for such a thing are Blade Runner.
Yep, I could talk a lot about Blade Runner.
Citizen Kane. That's a movie.
That I've heard of it.
I'm gonna slap you with a wooden plank when it. Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I could really talk about that.
That one's sort of off the wall with its craziness.
Jeez, I love that movie, but no idea what it's about.
Just as examples to get the ball rolling. What do you think? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes,
it would have to be a movie like that where
where Mulholland
just dissect it for hours and hours and hours. Like we couldn't talk about Predator 2 for an hour. Unless we really wanted to.
That'd be hard. Well, we'd have to like go scene by scene, but that's boring.
Go shot by shot like Ebert.
Yep.
Whatever it may be, I look to whatever you do next because you have a rather compelling group dynamic and consistently interesting discussion. Sincerely, Aaron, in parentheses, that's me. I suspected as much.
Probably.
And then Aaron responded to his own comment. This is perplexing here. So Aaron responded to the comment saying, apologies, my name is supposed to say Gene the Met emoji, but I hate that name because it's not funny anymore. I'm sorry that I picked it. I think that I will just go by my regular name from now on, which is Aaron because H. I still don't know what because H means.
Who's H?
Hey.
Or is it H?
I like this name even better.
Yeah, maybe it's H, like they say in the UK.
H.
And then here we go. Yancey said Mulholland Drive would be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be weird. Have you ever seen that?
I have not seen that.
Oh, hell.
Get ready.
To.
You know what? It's the
been on my
kind.
list.
It's
Don't watch
the
it at
kind
night.
of movie that you would hate, but say I get why other people love it.
Okay.
I feel
it's
like.
weird.
Or it'd be.
I love it.
Or it'd be one of those anomalies where, for some weird reason, you actually love it despite all expectations. Like it still baffles me that you loved Annihilation as much as you did.
Yeah.
It would,
Yeah.
Like that's
baffled me.
That's sort of the opposite from what I would expect.
Yeah.
From Plain White Rapper with a W. Probably still my dad, I assume. Slight change to my online identity. Going with Plain White Rapper. Think Repo Man more than Eminem. Okay, so more punk than popular. Here are a few movie suggestions in addition to Blood Simple. So these are just recommendations. Body Double by Brian De Palma. True Lies by James Cameron.
Love that movie.
Simply
Never
to
seen
watch
it.
Bill Paxton do his stuff. My Cousin Vinny, lawyers love this movie.
I love that movie.
My dad is a lawyer, so he would know.
Ooh.
The Verdict. Paul Newman is a washed-up attorney. Lawyers also love this movie. Features an early Bruce Willis in an uncredited role as a courtroom spectator extra.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen The Verdict. It's actually it's a Sidney Lumet film. Yeah. Didn't quite dig on it the way I probably would now, but I'd be interested to go back. I don't remember the Bruce Willis cameo, so it must have been pretty small. And Life Force. Space Vampires.
I'm looking this up.
Sounds like a Steve Miller song. Need I say more? Steve Railsback, movie star. Very cryptic, Mr. Plane. Have fun and welcome back.
This movie's already in my watch list.
PWW. Life Force.
Life Force, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's Toby Hooper.
Oh, how about that? And one last one. It seems like from Plain White Rapper. Big fan of ours, it seems like. I will resist changing my online alias to Blue Gatorade. Yeah, that's a fun story, isn't it? I was vomiting Blue Gatorade viciously during our Mission Impossible episode. But I reserve the right to change my name to it in the future. Here's another movie to add to a recommended watch list. The Stuntman, starring Peter O'Toole and that movie star Steve Railsback, who also starred as Charles Manson in the TV movie Helter Skelter.
Ooh, how about that?
I haven't heard of that. It's a movie about making a movie in a way, nominated for 3 Academy Awards, popular with critics and moviegoers alike. Note that, and then this is weird, completely out of nowhere, note that Roger Ebert did frame-by-frame analysis and discussion of Citizen Kane and Pulp Fiction at seminars for years before his death.
Okay, sure.
I will note that. Thanks, Mr.
Noted.
Plane. How about this? Since you're recommending so many things to us, have you ever watched anything that we've recommended? I'd like to know that. Yes, I would like to know. And then the craziest comment we've ever gotten
Probably
comes from Mikey Smalls. Jason is dying laughing right now.
Oh my god, this is my favorite comment.
Sup, brothers? Cadlick here. I've had enough of Sam reading comments, so I read mine for you. And then there's a link to to a URL, to a web page.
This is bananas.
Where this gentleman actually recorded himself reading the comment.
It's got 9 views right now.
And Mikey Smalls, if you think we're not playing the comment right now, you're sorely mistaken. Here's Mikey Smalls with the latest comment. Jason, try to suppress your laughter.
I think he says it better than any of us could.
Here we go.
What's up, brothers? Cadlick here. I've had enough of Sam reading comments, so I read it for you. Anyway, all I gotta say, Miles Teller don't need saving. Not at all. Not at all, brothers. My boy Miles is on a roll.
Turn it off.
His frickin' discography.
Yes, you can.
Rabbit Hole was fine. And then Project X. Boy, don't even get me started on Project X. So freaking relatable. Heckler now, don't hold
Rabbit Hole's okay, but Project... Okay.
Like the when it came out.
Project X sucks.
It does.
Then we had 21 and over, more relatable. Whiplash, we all know and love. And then we have the terrific double whammy of That Awkward Moment and Two Night Stand. Great stuff.
Double whammy.
Dynamic between those two. I love those movies. Whoops, my snapback fell off.
Your snapback fell off.
Oh my god. The dreaded 3-movie road bump of Insurgent, Fantastic Four, Legion. It's a shame that had to happen.
Yep.
Really a shame. But it ain't no problem. It ain't no problem.
Of course not.
Get a job, which is a blast.
Get a job.
War Dogs. Amazing. I love War Dogs. Love the characters. And how many times do I have to say it? Relatable content. I love
To War Dogs?
Apparently.
Bleed for This was next, which was... That was hard. That was hard. I love that movie. Great stuff right there. Only the Brave was emotional. I cried. I cried. I love that movie too. And then, thank you for your service. Kind of trash, not great. But don't worry about that, Miles. Don't worry about that. Thank you, Miles, for your service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service,
I think it
Miles.
goes without saying that Miles Teller is the actor where I see everything he's in. And then, also, how you disrespect my homie Kel. Without Kel, there ain't Keenan. Okay? Oh shoot, my frat brothers are at the door. See you, homies.
I knew
Mikey
this
Smalls
was
is
like...
Audi 3000. Deuces.
Okay.
You sound like your
brothers?
favorite... Mikey Smalls, you sound like your favorite movie is Wolf of Wall Street and I Am Legend. You sound like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I hope everybody doesn't start doing that now.
Do you know this? No, yeah, that was like a once in a lifetime thing. But Jason, you sound like you know this gentleman.
I think I do.
You think you know this person?
I think I do. I don't want to out him on here, but I do.
Okay. So that's fantastic. So in case you couldn't hear that well, basically took me and Jason to task for saying that Miles Teller needed saving.
I'm crying.
Which I think we had said mostly as a joke, because I think what we were getting at is that like it hasn't been since Whiplash that a Miles Teller performance has really like hit, you know, in any sort of massive substantial way.
I've never liked Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Oh no. Did I say it?
the movies that you say you don't like out of his filmography on here are actually the ones where he gives his best performances. Like Rabbit Hole, he's pretty good in, and I don't know why I can't find it right now.
What, Spectacular Now?
And Spectacular Now, yeah. Those are his best movies, which you seem to not like.
Yeah. But I think the point that Cadillac is trying to make is that if you know where to look, then Miles Teller's probably doing fine, just not in a big way.
He said no to La La Land.
Well, there you go.
True, he did.
Yeah,
I think 4 War Dogs or something.
And you are right. There is no Keenan without Kel. That was somebody else. So don't get on us about that. But that's all of our feedback. So. That was fantastic. This is going to be the weekly segment. So if you want to comment, go to johnnegroni.com. And no more audio comments, please. That was just a one-time thing. But
if we get another one,
we'll
quit the show.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just end it. But yeah, or you can also email us ataigpodcast@gmail.com. Also follow us on Twitter at AnywayCast, where we post all the links and everything. And I think that was about it. Pretty somewhat interesting episode, I hope. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's all we got. I'm Sam.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Jason.
And we'll see you next time.